Hello everyone, welcome to episode 10, we're up to 10 now, of Tracknowledgement, the series where I delve behind the scenes into the electronic production, the sample production of what it is I do here in my studio. Usually it's for a track for my hip-hop band Type 4, but the past couple episodes and this episode have been looking at work I've done on this thing called the Sample Challenge for the Producers Corner Facebook group run by Chris McManus and a bunch of other great people. So it's fun. 3 weeks ago I entered and won for the first time. A week after that I was judging. Week after that I was hot and needed a vacation. So this week came back with something. And I had this idea going in. The first time I had tuned in to the Producers Corner live show, the YouTube show, Chris, who's the host, had run into a bunch of technical difficulties, wasn't getting any audio out of it, so and I was recording it thinking I'd use some clips. Actually, I thought I'd use some clips of him saying, hey, here's, Matt from Type 4 or whatever, which I might still do, but he had those technical difficulties, so I knew going in what I wanted to do is do a piece of music and then have it break down and stop and have that recording of him talking about shit, got no audio, that kind of stuff, and then back in. I knew that would eat up a lot of time for a 2-minute beat because there's a time limit. I mean, you can make the beat as long as you want, but what gets played on the show is only the first 2 minutes, so you kind of want to put your best foot forward in there. Although, I don't know, my first beat was 4.5 minutes and I won. So do what you want. But if you want to get it played on the show, if you want to see their reactions and get everyone else's live reaction, keep it to 2 minutes. So the challenge this week was a song, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but a song called Dagarnas Scum by a band called Ragnarok with a very helpful umlaut over, I think it's the last O. And it's of a type. It's the kind of thing that seems to be in fashion on the Producer's Corner now for these sample challenges. It's kind of post-prog rock, jazz fusion. It's people that are really, really good musicians, but not necessarily great songwriters, so they noodle around with these great instrumentals for the most part, drummers playing polyrhythms, lots of strings and vibraphones, and it's rich for samples, really. So it's perfect stuff. And the song's kind of long and it goes through several different changes, and there's a part where kind of all the music comes in with a beat and everything. Didn't really need that, so I took, I think, four or five different little snippets from it. The first thing I did is I took one of the main samples, one of the main bits of the song, and slowed it down half speed, just to stretch out the chord progression, because I knew that it's the kind of thing a lot of people would jump right on and start sampling, but I wanted to do something different with it, so I did it halftime, which is this. Again, you get that's plucking on the muffled plucks on an electric guitar, and it sounds like electric piano. And then this second part, piano comes in. Again, that's not how it is in the song. This is slowed down half speed compared to how it is in the song. If I can show you how easy it is to change this stuff. If I... Nah, screw it. I was going to show you how it is in the original. Go find the original. Dagarnas Scum by Ragnarok. It's on YouTube. I downloaded it from iTunes to get a clearer original copy. So there's that, and then as that's going, I brought this in kind of way in the background with reverb on it. It's also from the same song. Electric guitar, also slowed down half speed. So that comes in. I went over this and replayed my own bass line with my own bass sound, so I could add a couple of different notes and changes, and also just so it was clearer, because if you take something and slow it down half speed, it just kind of destroys the quality. I don't know if you can hear that, the bass line. Just a kind of plucked bass. Simple. The beat's 2 minutes long. Didn't spend that long on it. I worked like 10 hours on this. Alright. Over that, I added a couple of sampled beats, which I edited and rearranged so they did what I wanted them to do. And then over that, I put my normal helping of drum machine sounds. So the beat. I'll start with the. You hear it's the drum machine stuff. Sounds kind of cool on its own, right? I took the snare and pitched it way up, so it's a really tight, smacky snare. Let me play with the drum loops, the samples. Added my own hi-hats and cymbals and stuff. It is backwards. Here's bass. Anyway, so all that goes, and then so I might as well do it in order. At the very beginning, I wanted something to do with Ragnarok. I thought about a sample from Thor Ragnarok for a second, but whatever. So I found on YouTube this linguistics, he would help me to be able to say that better probably, linguistics professor, reading aloud a poem about Ragnarok. I don't know if it's the poem about Ragnarok, but he was reading it in Nordicese, Swedlandish, whatever. Some dead Asgardian tongue. I slowed his voice down a little to make him sound even more ominous. Says Ragnarok right at the end. Put an echo on it. So all that goes, yeah. Play from the I'm going to close the window because someone's mowing their damn lawn. Hang on. Don't they know I've got a YouTube channel going on? What the hell? Alright, so that goes. And then I wanted, at the point where I wanted it to break down and stop, and then the vocal bit from Chris coming in, I applied I applied an effect that I'm dangerously close to overusing within a short period of time. It's like when you discover a new toy, you get a new keyboard, new sounds, bam, suddenly, hey, I'm doing techno music. You discover a new drum machine. Hey, I'm doing trap music. It's hard to resist that first flurry of activity with a new toy, new technological trick. And that's the vinyl stop thing. So I did it big time on this. So I did that, and then I had this bit from Chris coming in talking about his technical difficulties.
You know what, guys? This is crazy, man. I'm gonna have to do this shit all over again once again. I'm getting no sound.
And I think I was lucky to be recording that because I thought I'd record the show, but then he had to restart his YouTube live show. So I don't think that's on the final YouTube. Like if you go to Sample Challenge, whatever that was, 95, I think. It probably just starts from, after the technical difficulties. So I recorded him saying that, put it in, and then I wanted him. He says I got to go back, and I timed it out so that back would come right in on beat, and I put an echo and then a drum fill and go back into the beats.
I have to come back, yo. I have to come back.
Now, if you listen to it with the drum fill,
somebody's actual is or whatever, but fucking, I have to come back, yo. I have to come back.
And then into the beats.
Who is or whatever, but fucking, I have to come back, yo. I have to come back.
I missed something. Okay, so in the first verse, the bit before the break, as that music is going, I brought in the bass line, I brought in a piano, my own piano. I was listening to it, and as usually happens when I'm in a good mood, just a melody, a little thing occurred to me, and I played it over on the piano. Now, because it's such a slow beat, short beat, sorry, it only gets this far in the progression before then it slows down. The effect didn't take hold at that point. I didn't go back far enough. So that's the piano in the first part. Then there's the crisp break, and then it comes back in. Now when it comes back in, I have a totally different full-time, not half-time, full-time loop from the Dagarnas Interruptus song.
I have to come back, yo. I have to come back.
That's cool loop. Bring in the bass. Bring the beats. Over this, I also added some piano. It's subtle at first. But then, second half, it really picks up with this thing that occurred to me. Let me play it with the beat. When it first comes in after the break, I also wanted some scratching. I like putting scratching in a hip-hop beat if I can, hip-hop production if I can. As I mentioned before in another video, it's arguable, it's debatable whether something really is hip-hop unless it has, you know, that scratching vinyl sound. Of course it can be hip-hop without it, but it's somehow more hip-hop with it. You know, the sound of a needle on vinyl is the electric guitar solo of a hip hop song. It's personal. It's analog. You can hear someone doing something. You know, a lot of this stuff, a lot of the samples and keyboards and drum machines, it's just press a button and it goes. Obviously, you put a lot of work into it, but then it's automated. With scratching, there's something live about it. So I put that in. Let me know if you know where that's from. Added some drum rolls. Quick little drum rolls in there. So that's the second part, the sample, the piano. At the end, after the scratching, something else occurred to me. Just started playing in my head. And that was this. From Mixed Master G and the Turntable Orchestra, Manipulator. Great song. What is that, 85? Probably, 86? And I've sampled that before, but that great electronic bell sound, just add a little reverb to it. And it never quite fits a real funk progression. The key that it's in is just all wrong. Because it was the only sound that happened in, the only melodic sound that happened in Manipulator, so it was fine on its own. So you always have to pitch shift one of those sounds up to where it fits. And then it ends, 2-minute warning. Is that it? Did I get through it in a timely fashion this time without missing anything? Yeah, there's the Chris thing, there's the scratching, little drum rolls. That's it, simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 samples, 5 kinda, 4 samples from the original song. My own beats, drum machine, piano, bass line I played. Yeah, and then the thing from Chris in the middle. So, thanks for watching. I'll do another Tracknowledgement either with a Type 4 song or next week with, sample challenge number, what are we up to, 98. It'll be 98 next week. My 98 booming with a trunk of funk. See you then, thanks.